Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story that came out in the Washington Post, March 22nd, 2018. I have to tell you, it took me a while to get to the point where I could do this story. When I first read this, I was so enraged. I couldn't even do it. I had to sit and kind of take this in a little more before I could get on here and even do this video. Police shot at man 20 times in his own yard, and this was his backyard, thinking he had a gun. It was an iPhone. What I want to know is, why is it that when white people have a phone in their hand or a wallet or anything, it's never confusing. But when a black man has something in his hand, all of a sudden there's all this confusion about what it is. I think that's just your racism. That's what I think it is. If you're not making these errors with everyone else, and you're just making these mistaken of what you see in somebody's hand with black people only, then we got to call it what it is. It's nothing but racism. Maybe you're just too biased to do police work. And if you're that petrified of a black man with an iPhone, policing may not be the career for you. I'm not listening to this I feared for my life stuff anymore. For the simple fact that you don't fear for your life when it's anyone outside of a black man. I don't hear those words, I feared for my life, coming out of your mouth. But whenever the suspect is black, that's the only time those words are used. So I reject that. If you were using it across the board, okay. But if it's just for one group of people, then that's a problem. In fact, it's your problem exclusively. There's footage that shows Stephen Clark getting pumped with bullets, and I'm not going to show that. But the video is in this particular article. I will leave the link to the article in the description box, and you can come out at your own leisure and watch it. Police said they saw an object in Stephen Clark's hand before they fired 20 bullets that killed him in his backyard Sunday night in Sacramento, a disturbing moment that was made public through body camera footage released Wednesday night. The two officers were responding to a 911 call about a man breaking vehicle windows when they encountered, then killed Clark, an unarmed black man. Okay, even if somebody was breaking vehicle windows, I don't see how that turns into a death sentence. I bet you if it was some white kid out there doing that, it wouldn't be no death sentence then. I don't see how. That's vandalism. Okay? That's not something somebody should be executed over. I still fail to follow the logic of these cops. And don't come to me with the cops got such a dangerous job. The cops don't even make the top 10 most dangerous jobs in this country. There are people that have far more dangerous jobs than a police officer. Okay, so when they encountered, then killed Clark, an unarmed black man, the video released by Sacramento Police Department depicts a frantic foot pursuit through darkened streets. pierced by white slivers of police flashlight. The police spot Clark approaching a house and shout, "Show me your hand, stop, stop." Clark is seen running, and the two officers around the corner of the house find him under a covered patio. An infrared camera on an overhead helicopter briefly loses sight of Clark. "Show me your hands, gun." So the cop yells gun. An officer shouts and ducks behind the wall. In a friction of a second, the helicopter footage shows one of the officers appearing to grab his partner to pull him to cover. Clark steps towards the officers behind the wall. One of the officers issues another command, "Show me your hand," and then gun, gun, gun. The sequence from the first glimpse of Clark on the patio to the first gunshot unfolds in about 6 seconds. The officers never heard identifying themselves as police officers before fatally shooting Clark. Okay, so why didn't they identify that they were cops? Why would a cop not identify themselves? See, a lot of times when these cops don't want to tell you who they are, it's because they know they're doing something wrong. They know it. So my question is, if they were cops and they were chasing him without, I say they did all of this without ever identifying the fact that they were cops, ladies and gentlemen, that in itself is a problem. So he ran, the cops pursued him, never identified who they were, but they're chasing down this black guy without saying, "We're cops, we're the police," and shot him without ever identifying themselves as police officers. But we know in this country, in this country, black people are always wrong. The cop is always right. We know how it works. We know your legal system is rigged. We know that these cops will falsify a report. We have seen things occur on video cam and the cops give a whole different account. We have seen cops plant drugs on people, plant guns on video. We have seen cops, just like in the case of Tamir Rice, drive up within 2 seconds, shoot him dead. But no matter what our side is, we're by default always wrong. Always wrong. This is why I have no confidence in the people that run the legal system. I have no confidence in the police. And I have no confidence in the community that always tells us we're wrong in these situations. I have no confidence in any of you. And if you think I'm going to internalize anything that you say, you got another thought coming. But let's move on. The gun officers thought Clark had in his hand was actually a white iPhone. So they thought a white iPhone. A white iPhone. And I know what a white iPhone looked like because actually my first iPhone, ladies and gentlemen, was white. And a white iPhone don't hardly look like or resemble a gun. It doesn't look anything like a gun. I have one. You know, this gets to the point where this is a lack of common sense, and it's a lack of a police officer doing their job. It's amazing how they can diffuse the situation when there's a white person actually shooting at them. We've seen that on video too. Guys shooting at the cops, cops just shield themselves and take the guy alive. But when it comes down to us, and we know this goes back to the slave codes and black codes that are written into law, that are still being enforced. That's why you do it differently with black people, because those laws are still secretly being carried out. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. No, there's no such thing, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all really need to can that saying. No one is at no wrong place at the wrong time. He was in his own backyard. On your property, there is no wrong place at no wrong time on your own property. That's a load of bullshit. His grandmother, Shaquita Thompson, told the Sacramento Bee, come on now, they didn't have to do that. And I agree with her. How can you be at the wrong place at the wrong time on your own property? At the place that you live? Y'all need to can that saying, because that's stupid. Pure stupidity. The Sacramento Police Department said the man they believe was breaking windows was the same man the officers killed in a hail of gunfire. Breaking a window should not be a death sentence. Okay, breaking a window should not be a death sentence. I don't give a damn about what any of you say. If you really believe somebody deserves to die over a broken window, then psychologically, please don't come talk to me. You are the kind of person I don't want to talk to at all. Go take your nonsense to someone else. Okay, what they're saying is they believe, but they don't know for a certainty that he was breaking windows. Okay, so listen to this. This is what it was, ladies and gentlemen. They identified him only as a man over 6 feet tall. You know, the big black guy myth. The big black guy. You know, that's been going on since slavery. The big black guy, the big boogeyman black guy. Have yet to identify Clark as the suspect or victim. So all they did was describe him as this big, menacing, 6 foot tall black man. But Thompson and other relatives identified him to the media using variations of his name, Stefan, two different names, 22 or 23. So what? So what? Some of those relatives may not even live with them. Thompson disputes the police department's versions of events. Her grandson was short, she said in a video produced by The Bee. She believes another suspect was smashing windows and that Clark was in the backyard at the wrong time. No, you're never at your house at no wrong time, ladies and gentlemen. No, 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 no. Their doorbell is broken. Relatives often tap on the back window for someone to open the garage door, the family told the newspaper. Clark was staying at his grandmother's home at the time he was killed. The gunfire started that night, she told the Bee. The only thing I heard was pow, 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 pow. And I got to the ground, she said in the Bee's video. She said she began to suspect the police description of a dead person in her yard was a member of the family. I told officers, you guys are murderers, murderers, Thompson cried out. You took him away from his kids. The family said Clark had two young sons, Cairo and Aiden, and a fiance, Selena Manny. Thompson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. This is a damn shame, y'all. The narrative of the Sunday night shooting released by authorities tell a short, grim story. The helicopter observed a suspect picking up a toolbar and breaking a window of a house at 9 p.m. Sunday night. The B reported it was a sliding glass door belonging to a neighbor. Authorities said the suspect then ran and looked into a car. Police in the helicopter guided officers on the ground to the front yard of Thompson's house as Clark was coming from the back. But you know what? This is still not good enough because the helicopter lost track of him, if you remember. So if you lost track, I'm not confident that they had the right person. But that's my opinion. They met in the middle and Clark was dead. An analysis by the Washington Post found that 987 people were killed by police last year, 68 of them unarmed. You got to shoot an unarmed person. It tells me that you're not good at your job. You're not good at your job. Of those unarmed victims, 30 were white, 20 were black, 13 were Hispanic. Well, that's a problem that they had to shoot this many unarmed people. Unarmed. And you're supposed to be trained, cops are supposed to be trained to de escalate a situation. So you mean to tell me there was no way they could de escalate a situation with an unarmed person? Then perhaps police work is not where you should be. America has a white cop with a gun problem, showing an overrepresentation of African Americans among total population. 5 of the remaining fatalities were of unknown or other race. At least 230 people have been killed by police this year, according to the Post database on fatal force. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing new to the black community, but I can tell you one thing. I am tired of this shit. I am tired of this shit. And I'm tired of listening to the people that promote this shit and then try to come and make us believe this was justified when it clearly wasn't. You know, if someone is unarmed and you can't talk to that person, the problem is not them, the problem is you. And we see the same scenario over and over and over and over. It's never going to end, ladies and gentlemen, until this entire system is dismantled. As long as it's not dismantled, you can count on this going on indefinitely. And this is exactly what we don't need anymore. You can't come and demand that I be loyal to a country that have showed nothing but hate from my community, nothing but hate towards my people, nothing but hate towards our children in school. And that's a problem too in America. I was watching the True Royal Family, and black children get suspended more than any other child in this country. And they get suspended for things that white children do, similar things, and they don't get suspensions for. There's a lot of disparities going on in these schools. And that's where it all starts. And that's where our children see racism for the first time, is in the classroom with white teachers, which I don't believe they need to be teaching our children. It should be people from within the community teaching our children. It would be less issues and less problems because, number one, a white teacher does not understand the psyche of black children. And whenever a black child speak their mind, they see every damn thing as a threat when all we're simply doing is expressing ourselves. So if anything that comes to your ears from a black person and you perceive us speaking our minds as a threat, then the problem is definitely you. It's not us. It's you. And if you can't understand that we are going to speak our minds on the issues that affect our community, then that's really unfortunate for you. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. Twice join me over on Black Junction TV and blackspot.com. You know, all we want at this point is peace. That's all we want. We just want peace. So just know, ladies and gentlemen, if they can't give you peace on YouTube, they won't give you peace on the streets. Leave your comments, subscribe, and share the video. Peace, family.